Welcome to the old Sodcast number 9. We've done 9 of these already, Jace. Wow. Well, 10 sort of, but certainly 9 of what I would call the normal ones. In the chat already is Alice. Hello, Alice. And also Chums fan 1243. Hello, Chums.
Hello, mate.
I'm, of course, Jimmy Barnes, joined.
Jimmy Barnes.
Yeah, thanks. Joined, as always, by my co-host, who's in the dark at the moment. Although if you speak to him on a daily basis, like I do, you'll be the one left in the dark most of the time because one
you're not wrong.
Has any clue what he's talking about. But it is Jason Clow at Not Suitable for Mum. Hello, Jason. Good evening.
Hello.
Have you had a good week?
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's all there is to say. Not bad at all. Not anything spectacular, but not bad at all.
No.
Well, you want me to say
about the darkness of his. He thought it was his ambient lighting, but we've determined it's possibly something to do with your camera, haven't we?
It's a bit SH1T.
Yes. Yeah, indeed. So
I'm being careful because your youngins in.
Nah. Alice has heard worse, I can assure you of that.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone who's joined us or will be joining us live at some point in the evening.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll get some more people in as we get going. Some business to take care of, as it says on the ticker bar down at the bottom. If you've noticed it yet, this is the last Sodcast for 4 weeks. It'll be
roughly.
Well, unless Jason decides he's doing something else, and then it might be 5 weeks. But
No.
we think it's 4 weeks that we're taking a break. I mean, we're both away in a couple of weeks' time. And then the week after that, you've got is it a gig, Jace?
Yeah, we're going to go and see the Virgin Mary's, first time in years.
Virgin Mary's, first time you've seen them in some years, is it? I saw their don't know why, probably because I saw your post and then it linked to Virgin Mary's, but I saw their tour announcement on their Facebook page or website or something, and I noticed the date in. I'm assuming it's Southampton, the one you're going to.
Yeah, join us.
Yeah. So enjoy that.
Yeah, definitely will.
So 4 weeks time, and we've not decided what the old Sodcast number 10 will be yet, but we've got like an extra couple of weeks to think about it. So any ideas?
Yeah.
Chums is calling it the last ever old Sodcast. I hope not.
No.
If me or Jason snuff it, then it might be. Although I'd like to think if I snuffed it, Jason would carry on he wouldn't, because he doesn't like hosting a stream himself. But if someone could carry on the Sodcast legacy, I'll give it up. It's a trademark that's free for anyone who wants to use it. Anyway, this is right morbid now.
Hey!
Right, so
you're going first.
On to the business at hand.
Yeah.
So today, as you can tell from the title, we're talking about great artists with bad tracks. So this is basically where we think about. We've been thinking for the last couple of weeks about our. There can be our our favourite bands, singers, musicians, etc. But they could also be ones who maybe we're not much of a fan of, but we generally quite like them or we respect their musical contributions.
Yeah.
But they've done at least one song or one track that we can't stand.
Yeah.
So I know Jason wants me to go first.
I want to follow your lead, mate.
Yeah, you've been. He's been having some anxiety for the last.
Well,
for this one reason.
It's been difficult to work out.
I think he's worried as a massive Barbara Streisand fan. I think he's worried that Babs is actually going to watch this somehow and see which one of her tracks he's picked.
I'd like to. I think the objective would be to find one good song.
Yeah. Bit of an in-joke there for anyone who knows Jason. Well, not his musical taste, but the people he doesn't like. Barbara Streisand has always been up at the top. Chums has been listening to Diana Ross lately. Very nice.
Yeah.
I like some of Diana Ross.
Indeed. Yeah.
You won't be seeing her from me tonight or hearing about her, but
same.
I will get on to my first pick.
Okay.
So my first choice for a bad song, a crap song, one I don't like, from a band who I do like, and well, of course I like these because they're my all-time favourite band. I've got a New Order song, I've got a New Order track to kick us off with, and let's take a little look right now. So that was Jetstream by New Order featuring Animatronic. That was from the album Waiting for the Siren's Call, which is a really strong album for the most part, to be honest. Now I've kind of not warmed up to it, but I've kind of grown to tolerate Jetstream in more recent years. But the first time I heard it, I thought, this is absolute arse gravy. It's the lyrics are kind of patronizing, spelling out the word jet.
Yeah.
I don't mind Animatronic, who of course she was in, probably still is, assuming they're still going, Scissor Sisters. I don't mind guesting on that. I don't think she takes away from anything in the track. I think it was going to be a bad song no matter what, and it's become notorious within the New Order fan base, really, as being everyone's least favorite New Order single. And it did come out as a single. It was the second single off that album, Waiting for the Siren's Call, after Crafty, which is I really like Crafty. It's great. I just find Jetstream really sort of bland and trite. It's I used to properly loathe it, despise it. Now, I don't know, maybe it's me getting softer in my old age, but now I can kind of tolerate it. Maybe it's because I've heard a few remixes that aren't too bad, because I've collected a lot of New Order 12-inch singles. And there's been a couple of remixes of it crop up, and some of them are all right. They improve on the normal album version or the radio edit, but what I would call the normal version, what you get off the album or the single version, I just don't think it's very good. It's New Order's weakest song by any stretch. I don't think they've played it live in quite some years. They used to, especially when Animatronic could actually, get over to whatever gig they were at to guest with them. I think when she wasn't able to do that, they just it was Bernard Sumner duetting with a backing singer who'd be there anyway, kind of thing.
Makes sense, yeah.
When I went to see them in 2015, they didn't play it. I think it's one of those that's been sort of, that was from a different era. It was 2005 it came out. It's not very good, Jetstream. Don't like it. Never have. Never will. But I'm a little more tolerant to it now than I was, say, 10, 15 years ago. Just before I move on, Craig Bell, it says, "Evening, guys. Is Jason in two places at once?" Yeah, you didn't know he could do that, could you? It's
magic.
Yeah, it's the magic of being whatever species Jason is. It's a term for it, isn't there? Where you can be in two places at once. What is it? Not cloning. Yeah. It's cloned himself. Yeah. Trouble is, the clone version of him, he did himself a bit too big, so I've had to make him kneel down behind me there. Yeah. He does enjoy the view apparently, but yeah. Anyway, Jetstream. I don't know if I know. I only played 20 seconds of it.
Yeah.
I don't. You might have heard it before, or that might have been the first time you'd heard it.
Vaguely familiar. I didn't. I don't know if I think it's their worst one or not. I mean, I've not heard everything they've done. Obviously, I'm not you're a fan. I thought that song myself. I thought it was tolerable. But
that's
then maybe
what I feel about it now is just about tolerable. I think I spent so many years wishing New Order had never recorded it. I kind of exhausted myself, and now I'm like, well, look, there's nothing I can do about it. They've done it. It's out there, so
it's not.
Why get annoyed about it for any longer? Really?
I wouldn't. If it was on the radio, I wouldn't necessarily turn it off, but then I wouldn't go out of my way to play it. And I think that's sort of sort of with the tracks I've got, they're sort of, It
annoys me though, Jetstream, because, like I said, it's from what is a really good album, and for me personally, they could have. That was an album. There's 3 singles off it altogether. That Crafty, which came first, and the title track, Waiting for the Siren's Call, which was like a 7-inch only single. But there was so many other great tracks on that album, and it. That could have been singles, really catchy and really kind of order getting back on form, really. Because for me, and I know it's an album that's quite divisive within New Order fan circles, but for me, Waiting for the Siren's Call was a good return to form mostly.
Yeah.
The previous album, Get Ready, from 4 years previous. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate that, but it's one of my least favorite New Order albums. There's too much sort of generic indie rock on it, and not enough what I like, which is what the indie dance kind of stuff. Whereas Waiting for the Siren's Call, I just think there's better songs on it, there's better writing. We've got a top 10 great artists here from Chums: Steps, Scissor Sisters, Erasure, Jake Shears. He was the lead singer in Scissor Sisters, and now he's had a solo album out recently. Of course, she was in Scissor Sisters. I'm assuming she's probably released some solo stuff. Liberty X, Kylie Minogue, oh God, Lost Prophets. Do we still admit to liking them?
Yeah, it's a bit dodgy.
A bit dodgy.
All right, very dodgy then.
Yeah,
very dodgy. Yeah.
I'll be more comfortable putting a Gary Glitter poster up next week into your face.
True. Yeah.
From one wrong and to another.
Don't get me wrong. They did some fantastic songs.
And Madonna. It's an eclectic top 10.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Jetstream by New Order and Animatronic is my first pick. I've told you I don't like it. You've listened to a little bit. You're coming in late, or you're watching the replay. Then obviously you can rewind back, or you can go ahead and listen to the track elsewhere on YouTube or whatever streaming service you use. Or maybe you're a New Order fan and you think it's the dog's bollocks, in which case, my answer to you would be to keep taking the tablets, because it's not. But, we will move on. I'm excited to know what Jason's picked for his first one. And
right, okay.
I'll gone first, Jake. Normally, I like to throw over to you first with these, but
yeah, but I've got a way of you doing it. It's more or less what I thought. But
I don't think Jason's been looking forward to this one particularly.
It's been difficult because the vast majority of the bands I like virtually all their stuff. So it's
you can be a little bit more critical, I think. Really.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, this is where I've got to. Yeah. Right. So to say that I loathe these is probably going a bit extreme, but they're not great. Right. Okay. Anyway, we're going to it. The first one is from the lads from Bradford, Television, off the Good to Go album. Right, which is a crap cover, as you can see, absolute dreadful cover, right? But that's not the reason I hate it. I like the album itself. Actually, isn't bad. There's some good quality songs on there. But the one that drives me absolutely bananas is "Do You Want to Go Faster?"
Oh, well, it was a single, was it?
Yeah, so that's the single.
Right.
Yeah, they released two different versions. Anyway, the reason I don't like it is because. For those of you that will remember well, they had, I think it got to number 2. They had a number 2 hit with Tequila. People remember that. Now, I think what they were trying to go for was, people like that dance thing, but instead of getting someone to remix it, let's do it ourselves.
Yeah, because Tequila was remixed by
Mint Royale.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, Mint Royale.
Yeah, Mint Royale, and it was good. I mean, the song's good anyway. Right, but I do like the remix. A lot of TV fans don't, but I do. I think it's good. And vice versa with this one. A lot of people like this song, but it's the basic gist of it is he's basically talking about sort of traveling in his car and how it can sort of be a bit boring. All the rest of it. That's the sort of impression I've got. And the way he does it, it's not even really rapping, it's just talking in a sort of monotone voice. And it's sort of going down life's motorway. Da 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 da. It's like
you make it sound terrible, Jay.
Yeah.
Not even that bad.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and then it goes into this sort of fast-paced chorus, which the chorus is tolerable. But it's they've sort of done it as though like when U2 first started trying to do all the dancey stuff, and some of them were trying too hard. It's that sort of vibe to it. It's like you didn't really need to make this song. You stick to your guns, stick to what you're good at. And your fans will be happy enough with it. It does get people bouncing up and down at gigs, admittedly. And I suppose I do get caught up in that. But I would have been happy if they never made it, to be honest with you. It just doesn't really do anything for me. I've just seen if there's anything on my notes I've missed. It's sort of like they're just trying to capitalise on the success of Tequila, really. And I'm wondering if they were sort of semi-pushed into it by the record label, whether it would have been released as a single or not. I mean, I think they liked Tequila, what was done with it, but it's like it's a bit of a cash grab, I thought. That's just my opinion.
What
I was going to say.
I mean, if it's after Tequila, it's going to be after 99, isn't it? So
yeah, something like it's just before they got dropped actually by EMI.
Right. Okay.
But they're still making records. Few and far between now. They're more of a touring band now, but but no, it's a shame because the rest of the album's quite good. It sort of just lets it down a bit. It's not the best album they've ever done. I still think that's Regular Album Survivors, which is brilliant. But yeah, it's sort of a bit generic for them almost. Even the guitar playing. right? It's just, yeah. I can't really sort of say, explain it well enough. Can't describe it well enough. It's one you have to go and listen to.
No, well, yeah, that's fair enough. I mean,
you'll probably get my meaning.
I've not got any clips of any of Jason's choices because I don't know what they are. And,
no, exactly.
I like to be surprised, same as people watching, really. But there again, like with anything else that you'll hear mentioned or even see a clip of on this old Sodcast tonight, if you want to see it in more detail and decide whether you like it, then go ahead and look for it on YouTube or some streaming service.
That was the other thing. The drum, although the drum is being played by the drummer, it sounds almost like a drum machine. It's a sort of like generic sort of dance beat almost.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you've done better, lads. We know you can do better. So, yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say about it, to be honest. I know that's not very much detail, but
just moving off topic a bit, because it's when you mentioned drum machines, I always find it interesting when it's sort of it's flipped on its head, and like a rock band will have a drum machine rather than a normal drummer.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that because I've been listening to Sisters of Mercy lately, and they never had a proper drummer, at least not.
Really?
No, at least not for the first couple of albums.
I didn't know that.
They always used a drum machine, and Echo and the Bunnymen were the same in the early days. In fact, they used to joke that Echo was the name of the drummer because was a when people in interviews would ask, well, if you're the Bunnymen, who's Echo? And then they say he's our drummer. But at that point, they didn't have a drummer; they had a drummer. Well, for Sisters of Mercy, I've been listening to a little bit recently. I don't know, even though they're a gothic rock band, I don't know. It doesn't detract the fact that they didn't have a proper drummer for me. They still sounded pretty good. So
yeah. It's like, I suppose it's just because I don't mind drum machines in some music. It's fine, or just a drum loop. Someone sampled the drum loop in a hip hop because you kind of expecting that. But when you know that they've got a decent drummer, and he's not doing it to his full potential, right, or even half his potential, it's almost like he's wasted on it. They could have just done the drum machine and it would have been fine.
Do you know what number this track got to in the chart? Or
I don't think it got very far at all. I don't even know if it charted, to be honest.
Right, so it might have missed the top 100, maybe.
I think it got top 75. I think it was something like number 57, but I wouldn't swear to it. Right, but no, they EMI basically after Kida, all right, they got to do another album, but I think EMI were just like, no, we're not gonna, we're not interested in rock music anymore. They didn't give it much promotion. Shit cover, as I said, for the album. I like the logo, but the album cover itself, where they're all done in sort of like almost a blacklight style, it's just crap. So thankfully, as I said, the album itself was better than the album cover gives you. But just didn't feel it. Didn't feel it. Even now, it's sort of like, okay, they put it on at the gig, fine, whatever. But I only got the single because I'm a completist. I wanted all that stuff.
I've got Jetstream. Well, I've got 2 CD singles, and as I say, it's turned up as in like other remix forms on other 12-inch singles that have come out. Is New Order's catalogue can get a bit complicated regarding singles. So I've got it a fair few times, even though it's certainly back when it first came out, I'm like, this is outrageous. How could New Order? and now I'm kind of like, it's not very good, but who cares now?
Yeah.
Well, my next pick is one from another of my favourite acts, but I do still, after all these years, absolutely hate it. It just winds me up listening to it. Just before we get on to that, unless, of course, you've got anything more to say about it.
No, that's fine. Carry on.
Just having a look at the chat, and Chums is on about a Madonna album that she wants to show me. Great GHV2, Greatest Hits Volume 2. That I think I vaguely remember when that came out. Yeah. Anyway, not really pertinent to what we're talking about today. She's also listing some tracks, but I'm assuming the tracks you're listing, like Filthy Gorgeous by Scissor Sisters, as bad tracks from acts that you like. If I mean, do please let us know, chums. Obviously. My second pick, another of my very favourite acts I've been a fan of for a long time. But this single of theirs, it makes my shit itch. It really does. It's older than Jetstream. This would have come out in 2000, I think. 1999, I think, actually.
Yeah.
To punish myself, I got a little clip of it, which we'll look at now.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. It's New York City Boy by Pet Shop Boys.
Yeah.
It was the second single off their. Oh, now then, let me get the name of the album right. Not Release, because that Nightlife. That's it. To think from it, Nightlife album. The first single which came off that was okay. I don't know what you want, but I can't give it anymore. Too long a title, but there we go.
Yeah.
Second single was dreadful, New York City Boy. It was like, obviously you can tell it's some sort of camp disco, village people kind of tribute almost.
Yes, yeah.
The third single off that album, You Only Tell Me You Love Me When You're Drunk, is actually almost a little bit like a country song, and I do really like that.
Yeah.
They were going through a phase where they loved long song titles then. But yeah, New York City Boy has ever since it came out has been my least favorite Pet Shop Boys song. Not just single, but I think song out of everything they've done. And they've done an awful lot of stuff and collaborations, and I've heard pretty much nearly all of it, the vast majority, and I still can't stand that. It's too gay.
I get what you're saying.
It's like I know it's got layers of irony, but it's for me. It's like just stop trying to be like uber ironic for a minute and give us a decent song. The thing is, though, like certainly with their more gay audience, it seems to be quite a popular number. I think it's one that they still perform, maybe not every night, but they still perform fairly regularly in concert. Yeah. So I think, as far as Pet Shop Boys fans go, I think with Jetstream and New Order, I know I'm in the majority there who don't like it. With New York City Boy, I do worry that I'm in the minority, but me personally, it winds me right up.
Yeah, I can see why. It's definitely village people-esque, isn't it? Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the clip I played was from Top of the Pops, and they've got kind of extra people on stage, and they've got people deliberately dressed up like the village people.
Yeah.
I can't remember the promo video. I have seen it, but it's kind of a similar deal to that performance, and it's like it's camp for the sake of it, really. And Pet Shop Boys, for me, there's so much more of an intelligent act. Some of their lyrics have been fantastic, phenomenal over the years.
I agree.
Released some great pop singles, but I'll never like New York City Boy. I'll never even grow slightly tolerant of it like I did Jetstream. I'll always I didn't like getting that clip and doing it. Like, it annoyed me having to do that. I know I didn't have to, but I thought, well, if I'm playing a clip for one, I've got to do all four, really. So, but New York City Boy by Pet Shop Boys is an absolute stinker, and it's certainly the worst song in their canon for me.
Yeah.
Do you remember when it came out, Jace? Or
I don't really. I think I do vaguely remember it. I don't remember that performance. I do vaguely remember that. It may have been one of those songs I may not have initially realised who it was, because that clip that doesn't really sound like them.
Well, yeah, because the chorus, it's the chorus. Well, I played a bit of the intro and then I segued it into the chorus.
Yeah.
The chorus actually, I don't think sung by Neil Tennant. It's just sung by like generic, singers kind of thing.
Yeah. See,
you can tell it's Pet Shop Boys when you hear the verses. I mean, the verses probably the best thing about it. But even then, I just don't like it. And the chorus, it's meant to be like a Village People sounding chorus. So they've got,
which is it's kind of weird because I mean I didn't like Go West. I couldn't stand that song.
I do like that.
See that for similar reasons. It's that, sort of, it's overly.
Yeah, for me, it's. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Go West was pretty camp, but for me,
Pet
Shop Boys, they were dipping the toe in Euro dance a little bit at that point, and me, I'm fond of Euro dance, so I kind of look at it from that perspective. And plus, they had like a Russian choir singing with them on Go West, and I do think it sounded good. With what the track was and the lyrics and everything.
I was led to believe it was a male voice choir.
From Russia, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it was from Wales. I didn't realise it was from Russia.
No, not a Welsh choir.
No, okay, fair enough. That's what I was led to believe. Don't know why, that's just what I was led to believe. I don't know who told me, but somebody did. I don't know, okay. I mean, it makes sense that it was Russian, obviously, because of the context of the song. But, so that's just what, somebody said. I wasn't bothered enough to check otherwise.
That metaphorical shovel that you've got, just put it down.
Clang.
Right. So,
anyway, there you go.
New York City boy, and also we've touched upon Go West, but don't for 1 minute think that I'm lumping Go West in myself along with New York City boy.
No.
I like Go West. As far as Pet Shop Boys singles are concerned, it's probably top 20 for me. Maybe higher ends of it, because they've done loads of stuff, and a lot of it is fantastic. Some of their more recent stuff is really good.
I'm not so aware of that.
Some of it, but if you get all the albums like I do, you're gonna find some gems on pretty much all of them. Yeah. In fact, really, that album Nightlife that New York City Boy came from is. In fact, I did a ranking video for Pet Shop Boys, and I ranked that as my bottom album. It is probably their weakest for me, but it's still got a couple of good tracks. It's actually got a really good duet with Kylie Minogue on it in Denial.
Oh, right, fair play. Yeah, I'd imagine that's quite good actually.
It is, yeah. I do like that. That should have been a single, to be honest. That it would have done well. That I don't think any of the singles from that. They all got top 20, I think, but I don't think any of them got top 10.
You're far better at remembering numbers for chart positions.
Yeah.
Mr. Encyclopedia there.
I just like some useless information I'm able to retain. Now Chums is saying Now 49 is the next album to show me. Right. Okay. I've not bought a Now albums since I got a few of them on mini disc, but then I ended up selling them because I have made a good profit on them, to be perfectly honest.
I think the last one I ever had was something like Now 20 or something like that. If that, and I think that was bought for me. So anyway, we're deviating from the subjects at hand.
That's fine. It's nice for the chat to get involved.
Obviously, definitely, yeah.
Anyone who watches on replay, then if you want to make a comment, then do so in the comment section. I don't really want to speak more on that song from Pet Shop Boys. It's their worst one ever. I think it's absolute horse shit, and it's time to move on to Jason's second choice of a bad track from an otherwise good artist.
Well, you probably know the band I'm going to pick next.
Well, it's Skunk. Yeah, I was going to say Skunk Anansie, and I was just worried. My ego wouldn't let me say it in case I were wrong. And no, it weren't.
No, it's I love this album. The album's great, really, really good. When they did all the, when they did their elongated titles, they like hedonism, just because you feel good and stuff like that.
Good song, that I like.
Yeah. So that's the album. Now the track on question is called "Yes, It's Fucking Political." Right.
So just saying hello to Richard.
Hello, Rich.
Does he
prefer Richard? Is it Richard or Rich? Which do you prefer?
I think you prefer Richard, don't you, Richard? But if you don't mind Rich, then we'll bear it in mind. But thank you for coming in on your way to work.
Yeah.
Richard, appreciate it, my friend.
We have missed you, mate. We missed you like the last time as well.
Sorry, Jason. I just wanted, because I wasn't sure how long Richard would be able to stay.
No, that's absolutely fine. That's not a problem. Yeah, so it's called Yes, It's Fucking Political. And the reason I don't like it is because it was a statement they made. It was aimed at the media, because the media was saying, "Oh, your last album, it was all political stuff and everything." And the point was, well, yeah, but everything is political, whichever way you look at it, it is, right? But I thought it was unnecessary for them to do it. They didn't need to sort of, answer for that. Okay, yeah.
Making chocolate the other
Yeah, no, definitely won't call you that, mate. Don't worry about that. So I'm just seeing what I wrote. So yeah, it's just overdone. It was, and the thing is, people don't know the singer's voice, Skin. She's got a very versatile voice. She can yell, she can scream, she can sing in harmony, she can do melodies and gospel, funk, soul, whatever you want, right? This is a lot of sort of like almost punk based, and I don't want to show in a bit, right? But this was just like it's too over the top. It's just, yeah, it was just, we'll do this song because we're answering the critics. Blah, blah, blah.
It end up being a bit preachy. Is that what it is?
Yeah, well, no, I don't even know if preachy is the right word. It was just they didn't need to do it. It's like, well, any of the fans, yes, they know they're political. We know you're political. It doesn't matter to us. We're not bothered.
But political in what on what side of the fence, though? I think I can guess.
Well,
I mean, looking at them, they're hardly going to be card-carrying Tories, are they? Like going?
No, I don't think so. No.
Graduates,
Yeah, it's there's a lot, obviously, because of our background growing up in Brixton and all the rest of it. Black family, all the rest of it. There's a lot of that, right? There's even a song that is anti-PC, which is called Intellectualize My Blackness, which is basically saying, look, yeah, I'm black, so what? You don't have, to make you feel comfortable, you don't have to do that, right? I know who I am, I'm proud of who I am, you should accept me for who I am, right? Don't try and defend me because it makes it easier for you. So that's their sort of thing, and even the songs, you could say even the romance, they kind of sort of like they sort of like the dark relationship side of it. It's still sort of political because it's which side do you take in the argument of what went on. Anything that's you've got an argument, you can count as, but and there's another side to the story. I think you can count as political. So basically what this song is saying is like, because it's everything's political, and then it goes everything's satirical, which is true because we can poke fun at anything, can't you? So that's the basic gist of it.
So just remind me what the name of the album it's off is.
It's Stoosh.
Stoosh is the album.
STOOSH.
Yeah.
It's a very good album. It did really well.
About 95, 96-ish, was it?
97, I believe.
Oh, 97, right.
Because they went from 95 to 2000, and then they took a 10-year break. So they were just constantly touring albums, their first three, and then they got burnt out, which is why they stopped for a while. Because they did headlining Glastonbury in 2000, I think it was. I just felt they didn't need to justify themselves, really.
No, I mean, if it's the press, I mean, I can remember back to the 90s how thoroughly awful, the tabloid press. I mean, they still are, but I mean, they're just not as relevant now as they were 30 years ago.
No.
You know, sometimes the best response is no response at all.
Exactly, that's what I thought. You know, I mean, they've done similar tracks that sound similar, and they've got the sort of like the shouty bit, and then like the heavy chorus and all the rest of it, and that. But they are just songs in general. They're not preachy.
Mm.
You know, and it's not like it's almost, again, it's like they're trying too hard to validate themselves, and it's like, well, you don't need to. We accept you for who you are.
Yeah.
If the press don't like it, fingers to them. It doesn't matter.
A song like that, and obviously I'm just going by your description of it, but I mean, from the title, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But a song like that, it's to me, it's like stating the bleeding obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
The press, or maybe people on the other side of the political spectrum, have said, "Oh, well, you're too political." Then that's because like your lyrics already have proven that, and the things that you might have said in the media and things like that. Why do you need to kind of have a neon sign flashing saying, "Yeah, you're right, we are"? It's like you're stating the obvious, really, aren't you? With that,
say what I mean, all right. I suppose in this instance they're saying what they want to say, which is what they've always done. They haven't, they don't sort of take any prisoners by their views. But usually they're making a good valid point, and this I don't feel they were.
No,
it's just didn't need to do it.
I can understand that.
And it wasn't a single. It was just a first track off the album.
I might have heard it or remembered it if it was. But
no.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it does all sound a little bit unnecessary. I mean, I can't speak on it an awful lot because you're the Skunk and Anzi expert in the house tonight. So.
More so than you, anyway.
Definitely. Well, definitely.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but
as well. Ironic that Jason, who invented the J-splane, is complaining about someone else stating the obvious for a change. He does that every day.
Almost.
Well, what I meant was, it's like, we know what you meant because you said it like 30 seconds ago, Burke.
Yeah. I think it's because with sort of like the family sometimes, and that I get so used to having to explain things, or or other people that I know, right? And you're pretty tuned in, so it's not a thing for you.
Thank you very much. I'll give you a pat on your giant head for that.
Oh, thank you very much. I've got an itchy bit. Can you scratch it? Yeah. Oh, that's better. Lovely job.
Ladies, you two could go and ask your barber for that haircut.
Yeah, I know. It's even worse now, mate.
Why did I say ladies there? I meant ladies, you could as well. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they want that Connor. They've got the Sinead O'Connor. I shouldn't say that because poor bless her heart.
It's all right. I'm sure, we're allowed, even though it's still quite recent when she passed.
Yeah.
And, all due respect to Sinead O'Connor, that's
indeed.
I don't really tend to pay tribute to our recently departed and deceased musicians and pop stars and stuff. But I won't claim to be ever been a massive fan, but nothing compares to you. That was one of the most memorable. Even though it was quite simple in what it was one of the most memorable videos, I think, when I was growing up.
It's the video that cuts it. I mean, because obviously she's generally crying,
and like she's got a tear falling down her face, and they just cut to. I think they were set in Central Park or somewhere like that.
Wasn't she thinking about her mum or something like that? It was her mum.
I think you're right there, actually. Yeah.
I've heard the Prince version. Actually, the Prince version is very good. But she makes it her own.
I heard a bit of it years ago, and I have to say, I think I still preferred the Sinead version myself.
Yeah. I think that's a fair comment.
Yeah, the Prince version were very different from what I remember.
Yeah. It's a bit more. I think it's a bit more guitar heavy.
But yeah, really iconic, and outspoken artist. Probably didn't really get a full due of respect while she was alive.
No, I think that's fair as well.
You know, in death, then perhaps she'll get a just credit really for some of the things that she spoke out about. I'll always remember the scene of her tearing up the picture of the Pope, because I remember. I know this is totally off topic, but we might as well.
Right.
It's the last one for 4 weeks, but I remember my dad actually taped the Bob Dylan tribute concert that happened the week after that she was appearing at.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, James, come in and look at this." It had been broadcast late at night, so he taped it and then watched it when he got back from work the following day. It's like, look how much they booing Sinead O'Connor. I remember, I think it was Chris Christopherson who hugged her as she she went off crying. I remember another, and I never realised this until many years later, but the week after on Saturday Night Live, because it was Saturday Night Live where she tore that picture up of the Pope. And then came the Bob Dylan tribute concert. My dad's a big Dylan fan. That's why I wanted to see that.
Yeah.
He deliberately wanted to show me this bit where Sinead O'Connor were getting jeered off. And then apparently the following Saturday Night Live, Joe Pesci, the actor, hosted it. And he really tore a strip into Sinead O'Connor and said that if he'd have been there, he would have hit her and stuff like that. And he got a right cheer for it from the audience. And you look back at it now and... we do live in different times, but I think even back then, which was just over 30 years ago, for a man to go on national television in America and say that he would hit a woman just because she tore up a photograph, she was making a point about the Catholic Church and about it was she wasn't doing it to just be. She wasn't doing a Sex Pistols or something, and
just been trying to be controversial.
For the sake of it. If she come on Saturday Night Live with like a swastika armband or something, you'd be like, she's trying to be all punk there. She's doing it for effect, but she was, whether you agree with the way she went about it or not, she was making a statement that obviously the Catholic Church it suffered a lot of allegations that turned out to be true over the next.
Was the Bob Dylan thing done in America?
Yeah, it was. I think it probably was New York. I think it was like either the day after or the week after the Saturday Night Live appearance, where
probably big Irish Catholic contingent.
Well, I mean, probably similar thing with the Saturday Night Live audience, because that was taped in New York. I think it always has been. So you're going to get a lot of your Irish and Italian Catholics really living in New York. Hello to James 82. Thank you for coming in, mate. Nice to see you. We just kind of drifted off topic there, but
midway point anyway. So.
Yes, it is the midway point. But we just thought we'd pay our respects a little bit to Sinead O'Connor, mainly because Jason brought her up as part of a joke at first. But
then I retracted it.
You know what? We've talked about death already a couple of times tonight. But if I die, kind of before my time, I'd like to think that please. Think of me when you're doing a YouTube video and make a joke, Jason will probably want me to write all his jokes about me before I die. So I better get them sent in to him. Before
that Jimmy Barnes, he's all right.
We've got a contribution here from James Hindle. I might get some feedback for this, but song I hate from an artist I generally like. Bohemian Rhapsody. Well,
there you go. That way.
I've made my feelings about Queen quite clear on previous videos and live streams. Bohemian Rhapsody. It's an odd one that I'm kind of nowhere with it really. I don't love it, and I don't hate it. I'm just kind of now it's like, well, look, it's just that really long, kind of overblown song that is, it got to number one twice. Stopped the KLF from being number one in the second time they were issued, which were a bit annoying. So, I can understand why people would dislike it, but I suppose on the flip side, I can understand why people would say it's an all-time classic.
It's an iconic. I don't know about classic as such. Iconic is different from classic. It's what I can quite happily listen to it. I've got the album with it on, all the rest of it, and that's a fine album. Was it Night at the Opera, isn't it? I think. Can't remember. Yeah, sure, it's Night at the Opera. Anyway, but yeah, they've done better songs. They've done better songs. It has to be said.
They've done worse in my book. Fat Bottom Girls, I think.
I kind of like that. It's funny.
We Are the Champions is like, well, it's all right if you're kind of a football hooligan, but
but it wasn't about that, was it? So much.
No, but it's been kind of
associated with
adopted, by football crowds But you know how I feel about Queen anyway. That's not really the issue for me to make today because I've talked about it before. There's certain Queen songs I do like. Under Pressure with David Bowie, I think it's a fine,
brilliant song. I love that song.
But generally, I find them to be kind of overrated, really. Well, I'll move on to my third choice of
number 3
song that I dislike from an artist who I generally like. Now, this next artist, I don't actually own any records or albums or anything by him, but I have always respected the quality of his musicianship over the years. And he's been going, although I get the feeling he's probably all but retired now, but he's been going since the early 60s when he was just a teenager. I think Jason might be guessing what this is, actually.
Possibly.
Yeah. You'll see in a sec anyway. But this is my next choice. I'm not a fan of the guy, as in I want all his albums or listen to his music regular, but this is certainly, I think, his worst single, and presumably one of his worst songs ever. There we are. They call him the Black Jason Flow, although I think he's got better eyesight. I Just Called Say I Love You from Stevie Wonder. So that was a single that came out in 1984. Interestingly enough, 1984, of course, the biggest selling single of the year in the UK was Band-Aid, but Stevie Wonder actually spent a week longer at number one in 1984 with that. Yeah. So he didn't sell as many, obviously, because Band-Aid just sold a buttload as soon as it came out. But, I did look. I saw what album it was on. It was also on a soundtrack to something as well from 1980.
Yeah, I got a funny feeling it was.
It was some like romantic comedy. It might have had Eddie Murphy in it, actually.
It wasn't. No, that would have been too soon. It wasn't a Distinguished Gentleman. Because that would have been afterwards.
What? Sorry.
The Distinguished Gentleman.
I don't think so. I can't remember.
No, I think that was later on. I think that was released later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got vague recollections of it actually, but I can't remember what it was.
It was from a film which I think helped its popularity, if not over here, then certainly in America. Oh, Rach Kappa, nice to see you. Thank you.
Rach.
Hi. You've just missed a brief clip of Stevie Wonder with the mawkish "I just called to say I love you." Yeah. I heard this a lot growing up. I mean, my dad taped a lot of stuff off the radio, and this was one on a tape that was played a lot. I'm just trying to think if it would have been him or my mum playing it. Probably both of them to an extent, but I'm surprised that my dad would have liked that, really. Richard's still in. He says, "Woman in Red." That's what? Oh, that was the Gene Wilder film, weren't it?
Right. Yeah.
I was from that, right?
I didn't realise that.
Yeah. I thought "Woman in Red" might have been a couple of years earlier, but right. Thank you for that, Richard.
Yeah, well done, mate. Well done
on that.
Yeah. I've not seen that film in a long time.
There's a worst song from an artist she likes is Pink's "Just Like Fire" from Alice in Wonderland. Don't think I've heard it.
No, but I don't recall it. I have seen the film, but a long time ago.
It says, weirdly for Christmas that year, me and my sister got the vinyl singles of Band Aid, Toy Doll. Oh, Toy Dolls, that was Nelly the Elephant, weren't it? Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
And then I Just Called to Say I Love You. Yeah, I think I Just Called to Say I Love You would have been out a fair while by then. It was probably at least autumn, maybe even summer when that had come out.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of that sort of styling. It's sort of almost a summery tune.
I don't know if it's the production of it. I suppose the lyrics to me are kind of a bit sort of mawkish and drippy. Yeah. I mean, I assume because I'm not a Stevie Wonder fan. It's not. Yeah. I've not deep dived maybe as much as I should have done into exactly who wrote it, who produced it. All I know is it was number one for 5 or 6 weeks in '84 because it was a week. It was a week longer than Band Aid. Band Aid would have been 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder was 5 or 6. It was 1 week more than whatever it was. I've always found it like a real kind of 3-4 minutes of cringe, really. That, and
it's not his finest work.
It seems disrespectful to Stevie Wonder because he's you think about some of the stuff he did. Superstition in the 70s was great.
Yeah.
Even some of his early 60s stuff. You bear in mind this is a guy who with his obvious disablement as well, he was having US and then UK top 10 hits when he was like 13, 14 years old.
Exactly. Yeah.
In the early 60s. It's the longevity of him. I think when God forbid, and although he's I suppose technically an old man now, he's not old as in we're kind of we're just waiting for the announcement sort of thing.
No.
As far as I know, he's probably in all right health for his age. He's a year younger than my dad, I think. So he was born in 1950. Stephen Morrison was his name, or Stephen Morris. But Stevie Wonder, obviously, or Little Stevie Wonder, he was known. James says it was written and produced by him. Well, I thought it might have been written by him. At least I didn't know if the production maybe had been from someone else. But okay, it was produced by him as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Rach also says she don't like Lady in Red and the Crazy Frog version of Axel F.
Oh, that's bloody awful.
Well, yeah. I don't like anything by Krista Berg particularly, but certainly not Lady in Red. I mean, that's the worst of the worst as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, that is just trick.
Sorry, let me wipe my whistle a minute.
No, it's a lot of people said with that song, it's a bit sort of Bon Tempi organish.
Yeah, perhaps the way it was played. I mean, I think that version I played, it was from a live gig. It was some sort of like tribute to himself that we're playing. I think with VH1 broadcast some years back, so it did sound markedly different to the standard single version. But it is, that live version that I got a clip of is probably one that is probably I don't like it, but I could probably tolerate it a little more than the normal single version. But it was overplayed and it just seemed to be overplayed in like Our Bloody House. And like I think my mum must have really liked it, or my dad did, which I'm surprised about because I didn't think that my dad's seen whatsoever. My mum, yeah, because she has listened to some ropey crap over the years. But
I've got the Greatest Hits album, and this is I absolutely love it. There's some amazing stuff on there. But yeah, I would, although I don't mind the song, I would say it's probably one of his weakest songs. I don't know about the weakest, but certainly one of the weakest.
Yeah, for all I know, he might have done something worse, because I've not listened to, New Order. I've listened to everything they've done. Pet Shop Boys, I've listened to everything they've done or thereabouts. And even my final pick is someone who I'm a relatively big fan of.
Yeah,
and I've listened to a lot of their stuff, certainly the older stuff. But with Stevie Wonder, that was like my pick today, where, all right, I'm going to pick someone who, as an artist, I respect him, but I'm not that much of a fan, really. So, but and it just annoys me knowing how many weeks it spent at number one. And I guess, it was overplayed in our house on, taped off the radio, and then we listened to the top 40 every week. So that was played every week for bloody knows how long. Probably heard it on public address systems out in the shops and stuff.
I imagine so, yeah.
3-4 years old. But, it's one of those, it does trigger like certain sort of vague childhood memories that, not bad ones, just normal ones. Like, maybe I was doing this when I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
So I suppose in that respect, I've got to pay a little bit of credit to it, really.
It's certainly of its time. I don't think it's aged very well. It's a bit paint by numbers, maybe.
Yeah, it's just cringeworthy for me. End of the song's the worst bit. Not sure if I can't play it right now, but I think I know.
It goes dun dun dun.
I remember. Yeah, it is.
And that definitely sounds.
We've got Jonathan ringing. Welcome, Jonathan. Thanks for joining us. Well, yeah, it was. I call him Jason Clone because Jason managed to perfect the art of cloning himself, but as you can see, his clone version is way too big. So
it mutated.
Is that sort of nailed that? Jason's been fed up of being 4'5" all these years, so he thought, well, I'm going to clone. When I've learned how to clone myself, I'm going to make myself 6 foot something. But unfortunately, he just managed to swell his own head more than anything.
Yeah, you are. I can see that featuring in a few videos here and there, just for giggles. I can see it happening now.
Well, I think so. I think Jason.
You got to get your money's worth out of it, mate, haven't you?
Well, yes, yeah. Although, like I said to you before we started, Jason, I don't think it was a bad price for the quality of it. I don't. Believe it or not, I don't regret getting it. I think it makes me laugh, and it's worth its money for that, really.
Yeah. Well, if I can make you laugh once a day just by you looking at me, that's fine.
Yeah.
If it makes you happy, mate, spot on.
I'm just itching to scare the neighbours with it by putting it in the window. But,
the head just on its own, it's probably about as tall as me.
Stevie Wonder, of course, I love you. Legendary artist. Respect his achievements. I don't know if he's done much, if anything, in recent years. He's probably enjoying semi-retirement, if not full retirement. I've no idea. All respect to Stevie Wonder, but I just got to say I love you. A bad song from a good artist, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So, Jason, it's your third pick.
Okay. Right. Well, this is a band that I've liked for quite a long time, but because of this album, I went off of them for a while. And there's a track on the album, and I know there's one that Jimmy hates off this album, right? Oh. Yeah. But there's one that I would say is even more twee than that. Anyway, it is the Stereophonics, Just Enough Education.
I know which song I hate off that.
Yeah, go on, reveal.
Have a Nice Day. It's fucking dreadful. That
it is. But
it's not a pig. So God bloody hell,
no.
To be very well,
okay. that is a bit twee. I grant you that. I kind of like it in the same way that you might like, say, like Travis or something like that.
Travis, all right. I quite like
Yeah.
Travis.
Anyway, I'll read what I've put because I can't remember really what I said. Right. So it's Nice to Be Out is what it's called.
Right. Okay.
Right now, what I said is it's a very plodding sort of acoustic song.
Mm.
And it just sort of rambles. It's the same feeling all the way through the song. There's no sort of change in it. It doesn't go into a lot of songs they'll break it up, won't they, by doing something for the chorus to be a little bit different or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is not a song without a chorus then.
Yeah, well, it has got a chorus, but it's.
But yeah, it just sounds like
it's just blending in. Yeah, as I said, there's no chorus as such to break up the monotony.
Mm.
I think that It's Nice to Be Out is, in fact, the last line of the song. Right? I mean, basically what they're, and I couldn't wait for it to end. It's one of those songs you just want it, finish it. Shut up.
Yeah.
Don't want to hear no more. Right? It's got it's not got any guitar sound. It's got this kind of weird piano bit in the middle, which you could sort of say is a solo, but not really.
Mm.
It's just a few key presses, like a few notes with a bit of the drums, and then it goes back into what it was doing before. Just twee. Really is just I don't like that album anyway. I think it's probably the weakest album they've ever done. To be honest, because of stuff like that. It was basically what they were saying about it was just places they've been whilst they were on tour.
Mm.
So, like, they're talking about. I mean, the idea of the song is fine because it's like talking about like walking the footsteps of German soldiers and stuff during the war and things like that. Places some places they visited whilst they're touring, which I get, right? And had the song been stronger, the message might have been better. But it's the tune is just meandering on, just get on with it. You want the song to do something and it doesn't. Just doesn't go anywhere for me personally. I don't really know what else to say about it.
Remind us what the name of the album is again.
It's nice. It's Just Enough Education to Perform, or Jeep, as everyone knows it, right? And the song is It's Nice to Be Out, and it's even more twee than Have a Nice Day. At least Have a Nice Day's got a little bit of a beat to it.
Yeah.
This is just.
You almost got me paying compliments to a song that I can't stand.
Yeah.
Have a
nice
day.
I think it's worse than that. So make of that what you will.
Certainly not an album I'll be rushing to check out. Then, seeing as how there's at least 2 terrible songs on it.
Yeah. But no, most of them are Step on My Old Side's Nines. That's
you've convinced James anyway. He's sold on it being shit. Certainly. So, yeah. I know you quite like them, or maybe with the exception of that album, but I've never been massively fond of Stereophonics. I I get why you like them, and I don't think they're a bad band across the board. They're not like Eddie Keane or someone like that.
They're not the heaviest band in the world you're ever going to listen to, but they're not so sort of standardized, generic that you're just like, oh no, I can't listen to them. Their songs can be quite different. You've always that's another thing about that song is Kelly's voice. No, normally I love his voice, but in this it's just like, shut up.
Yeah,
it's like he's more, he's always been a little bit whiny, but this is like even more so.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. There we go. Not on the song. I get the feeling I should have heard that Terrorvision single maybe at least once down the line, but I probably haven't, especially if it didn't actually even get in the top 40.
I don't know. I could be completely wrong. To be honest, when it was released, yes, I went and bought it, but I didn't pay much attention to it.
No, your three. I mean, I've picked one, the first three. In fact, I'll, spoiler, the fourth one, I know was also a single. I've picked ones that were released as singles. Not deliberately, more of a, an unconscious choice, really. I just wanted to pick songs that I know I hated from artists that I do either like or I'm a big fan of. So yeah, Stereophonics, and It's Nice to Be Out.
Yeah.
I could make a joke there, but I'll save it. I'll message it to Leroy later. The only Stereophonic song Rach likes is their cover of Handbags and Glad Rags.
I do like that. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
It
reminds me of the original Office series, which I don't think is a bad thing, really.
Yeah, that's with Tom. Was that with Tom Jones?
No, that was.
Mama told me not to come.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah,
either.
I don't mind that.
It's not as bad as Have a Nice Day, but
no.
I've never quite fully got on board with Tom Jones. He's I don't know. He's very shouty as a singer, isn't he?
Yeah. But that's his the Welsh.
Yeah, but like there's
Harry Seaford and all that.
Welsh artists, and I think he's one of the worst. Oh, you just froze there, Jace, but you are back now, I think.
Oh, okay.
I worried. You're frozen in a minute. You look like kind of like a dwarf version of Godzilla or something.
That word boggles. I can't visualize that myself, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
What going?
Yeah, it was Rod Stewart who did the original.
Rod Stewart, yes. Yeah. I wasn't sure whether it was him on his own or the what was it? Because there was the Faces and the Small Faces, and I always get the two muddled up.
Well, Rod Stewart was in the Faces. The Small Faces came. They were like sort of 60s band, and the Faces. Yeah. It's a confusing one because technically they classed as two different bands, but there was some crossover. I'm sure there was.
Right.
Okay. I think Ron Wood for one might have been in both, and there might have been at least another one who was in both. Yeah. So that's why some people consider the Faces to be basically the evolution of the Small Faces. But
fair enough. Yeah.
Chris Farlow, actually. So sorry, James, you've lost me. With what you're referring to there. Okay. Anything else you want to say about that?
No. That's fine. I'll put that to one side.
Yeah. So it's my last pick. It is another single. Definitely her worst single. I would wager. Oh, James is telling us it was Rod Stewart actually covered it before. It was.
Right. I didn't know that.
It was actually Chris Farlow. Okay, thank you for that, James.
There you go.
Yeah, I would have assumed it was a Rod Stewart original, but then again, for years I thought Sailing was his original, and it's not. Yeah. That's the Sutherland Brothers.
Yeah. Well, in the army now, I didn't realise until much later.
Well, I didn't know until more recent years that was a cover as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, my last pick. Now this is an artist, a singer who I've mentioned, numerous times on numerous videos. I like her early stuff up to the late 90s. Jason knows who it is, and he might be able to guess at what the song is, considering we did briefly touch upon the album this is from a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yes, possibly.
Yeah. This, if I had to do a ranking of the worst out of the four I'm playing tonight, I think this one is either going to be number one or number two. It's going to be fighting it out with Pet Shop Boys, I think, tonight.
Yeah.
But, judge for yourself with this load of old cack.
Before I get too cranky, get you, thank you. Nothing like a good thank you. Don't take out your handkerchiefs. I don't want to cry. I just want to thank you like thank you. Nothing like a good thank you.
Jesus.
Wanky, a bunch of absolute wanky by Madonna.
Yeah.
So as an early '90s single, it was. If it wasn't the lead single, it was the second one, maybe from the Dick, if I can say it, Dick Tracy soundtrack.
I need some soap and a scrubbing brush now.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think there's certainly one here that Jason would definitely agree with me is absolutely. Now, you know, the whole album isn't great. I mean, that's probably like one of the worst things on it. But to be honest, it doesn't improve an awful lot, really.
No.
That is, I don't think I'll ever do my definitive Madonna ranking because I don't collect her more recent stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like her early stuff, really. But if I was to do a ranking of Madonna's 80s, 90s, and early 2000s output, I'm Breathless would, I think, be bottom of the pile as far as albums are concerned. It's Rach is on board with us as well there. Jesus, what a load of shit.
That's got to be bad for Rach to say that.
And Chums likes Chicane. Well, yeah, I do as well. Okay. I don't really want to talk an awful lot about this. It was.
No. I think it pretty much says it all, doesn't it?
You know, it got top 10 though. I think, what number did it get to in the UK? It was either 2 or 3. Something.
It was quite high. Yeah.
You know, it was off. I mean, the people. It is technically classed as a Madonna studio album, but do even hardcore Madge fans say, "Oh, I'm Breathless"? That's an essential addition to the Madonna canon. That, you know.
Yeah. Have you actually got it?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I collected all the early, from 1984 or whenever the first album came out, all the way up to Music in 2000. That's the most recent Madonna album I've got.
I suppose it's a bit like where Queen did soundtrack albums and Prince did soundtrack albums. Yes, it is a studio album, but it's done for a film, specifically for a film, as opposed to doing it as their standard catalogue.
Exactly, and to try and be fair to Hanky Panky and I'm Breathless in particular, Dick Tracy was obviously a very sort of stylistic. I mean, it's a comic book adaptation, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was a comic book detective, wasn't it?
And I think it was a newspaper strip to start off with.
Yeah, more than likely, yeah.
And then they did do a cartoon version.
And then they did the live action version, which I don't think anyone particularly really was clamoring for. No. I think even by 1990, I think Dick Tracy as a character was pretty much largely forgotten about. But from what I know of the film, I've never seen the film. Apparently, it's not very good, and I've no real desire to see it. But apparently, it was a Warren Beatty vanity project, and he was dating Madonna at the time, so he wanted Madonna in it. Yeah, and then Madonna did the soundtrack album, and
I kind of get the whole concept behind it and why the song sounds like it does.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's got that kind of 1930s, 1940s swing kind of, which I've never been fond of. I mean, I remember that had a revival about 15 years ago, and people like Robbie Williams doing swing albums, and also, Michael Bublé came along, and he seemed to put one out every Christmas.
Well, that Red Hot and Blue one had a lot of songs like that on there. That swing, because obviously that was the time it was from.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't. It's not. The only ones I've sort of liked is when there's been cover bands that have done songs in the swing style. That's quite entertaining. Because someone did I can't remember which one it was now, but someone did a Skunk Anansie song in the style, and it actually worked quite well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the genre across the board. I mean, it's very sort of, it's very closely related to jazz, which I've never been fond of. But, there's always exceptions as to, but Hanky Panky and I'm Breathless in general, the album is just poor, really. Rach loves Madonna's early stuff, but not that one, and she dated Warren Beatty at the time. Chums has listed all the Madonna albums. I don't own, well, almost all of them there. Confessions of a Dance Floor, Hard Candy, Celebration, MDNA, Rebel Heart, and Madam X. And also, I don't own American Life, which came out, I think, 2003. I've thought about buying that occasionally because I get the feeling it's probably all right. But then if I start buying Madonna albums like into the 2000s, then where's the cut-off point there? Really,
I still think that my favorite album of ours anyway is oh crikey, what was it called?
Like a Prayer.
The one with
Ray of Light. Ray of Light. It'll be
Ray of Light. Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't remember what the hell it was called. Brain fart.
Yeah, for me, Ray of Light's going to be up there about number 2 or number 3 for me. Like a Prayer's way up there. True Blue's got some cracking. I mean, we did speak a lot about this the other day. Especially I've shown the Immaculate Collection by Madonna. But I'm Breathless, and that the Dick Tracy soundtrack and Hanky Panky, etc. That would have been her first album after the Immaculate Collection, so it was.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah,
Immaculate Collection came in between Like a Prayer and I'm Breathless.
What was that? 87?
Like a Prayer was 89. Immaculate Collection was 90. I think
Was it as late as that?
Yeah, and I'm Breathless was 90 as well. I think.
Oh, blimey! I didn't realise it was that late on. I thought it was more like it seems more like an 80s film, doesn't it?
I've never seen the film, so I couldn't say.
But just thinking of the context of it.
I mean, it's a period piece. I'm assuming Dick Tracy's probably could be set in the 20s for all I know.
It could be, yeah. Bugsy Malone and all that
20th century. So and Rach says the Immaculate Collection is the best. Yeah. I can't remember if you were here when we talked about compilation albums a couple of weeks ago, Rach. But the Immaculate Collection is one of my all-time favourites. It's phenomenal, and it's the worst thing about it is the amount of good singles that were left off it. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago as well. That's its one downside for me. But we should be grateful that I'm Breathless came afterwards, and then we didn't have to put up with Hanky Panky potentially being on.
Yeah, that's true.
And making it rather less immaculate. Is the word as unimmaculate? Probably not. Here we go. We've invented one.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm Breathless. Not a good album. I even as a Madonna collector or an early period Madonna collector, I can't recommend it. I never would. Yeah. And Hanky Panky is just irritating.
Yep.
Not even Madonna dressed skimpily on stage kind of makes up for it. Really, it's just.
Well, I think even that's like cringeworthy. She's overdoing it.
Yeah, it's like like behave, pack it in. Yeah.
Stop trying so hard to be cool or different.
Yeah, quite. So, yeah, I don't think I've got anything else to say about Hanky Panky by Madonna. That was my fourth and final choice. I don't think I've got any honourable mentions because I will have. There'll be ones that if I thought about for long enough, but I didn't make a note of any.
No, I didn't.
We'll go to Jason's final pick now. I'll be interested to see what your fourth bad song from a good artist.
This is quite. I'm trying to find a fourth one. It was quite difficult. I was just like going through albums and it was good because it was good to do because you're having this albums you haven't listened to for a while, right? So it was good from that point of view. And this album in particular was kind of difficult to find what I would call a bad track on there. And it's an artist I know you like, or certainly like this album anyway. And it's Moby. Play.
Yeah, that's an album I've got. So this will be one that theoretically I'm familiar with, even though I've not listened to the album in quite a while.
Right. There's a couple of reasons why I don't like it. And the song is, if I can read it off of here. What was it called? Rushing. It's not a very long. The thing is, it's not a very long song, right? Which I'm thankful for. I think if it had been longer, it would have been even more irritating than it is. But it's almost like it is very much a filler song. It's the album's called 18. We need an extra track to make it up to 18.
Oh no, I haven't got that out. Sorry, I thought that were Play that you're holding up.
It was 18 or no, sorry, it's 18.
That's one
18 not Play. Yeah, sorry,
I've not got that. They're very similar.
No, hang on, wait a minute. Have I got the right bloody album?
Oh. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're showing the wrong album. That's what I mean. It kind of matters. But
no, it is Play. It is Play.
But it's that track's not on Play. It's on 18.
Yeah. Right. Okay. There we go. That's why I got confused. Sorry.
Right, shown the wrong album.
I've got both albums. You see, so I got confused. Anyway, I'll get on to it. Yeah. Right. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it was on 18. Do you remember the tune?
I don't, because I've not got the. I remember, I think, pretty much all the singles off that, but I've not got the album. It's an album I've been thinking about trying to get into my collection, to be honest.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll put down what I put, right. So ironically, it's a relatively slow song, right? You know, you're rushing. You think, oh yes, it's going to be fast paced, and it's not. It's very piano heavy. What did I say? Yeah, probably the weakest track on the album. So I got them muddled up, but I've got both, right? And they came out quite close together, didn't they?
Relatively so.
Yeah. Anyway, it's
got similar covers, so that, to be fair to you, Chase, it was probably an easy mistake to make.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, it's got a very generic drum beat. Yeah. You know, it doesn't even really have his all right, he's not got a topical drum beat that he uses, but you can tell a Moby song by the types of drum beat he does use, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got a certain style that he do, and it's not even got that feel to it. Right? I don't know what he was trying to accomplish with it, whether it's sort of meant to be. There's no vocals, I don't think. And it's just very, very sort of samey all the way through. It's another one of these songs that doesn't really go anywhere. Right? Yeah, like I said about Paint by Numbers, the piano, it's just very, very Paint by Numbers, very generic. And it's a shame because, I mean, both albums are great. Both albums are great.
I do like Play, yeah. It's
yeah,
it had a lot that was released from it, and then what wasn't released.
Which was the one that came first?
Play.
Yeah, because that was the one that had all the like the advertising stuff, didn't it?
Yeah, everything on it was used for some sort of ad campaign.
And this is actually bugging me now that I've got them muddled up, right? And I want to make sure I have got them muddled up, and I'm not completely wrong. So you have to bear with me while I'm still talking as well.
Well, if it's a case of looking up what tracks are on the album, I'll do that myself now. And
right. Look what Rushing was on because I can't remember.
Pretty quickly.
The problem was I listened to both. You see,
Play, which came out in 1999, by the way.
Yeah.
So no, it was on. It was on
18.
Yeah, Rushing. It's track number 6. It's 3 minutes and 1 second. Oh, so I have got it. I don't remember it. That's the trouble.
Yeah, but it's one of those songs. It's forgettable. Yeah, I thought I was right when I said 18, but I couldn't remember.
It's definitely forgettable because I forgot it. I mean,
the fact that I can remember what album it was
in a long time, admittedly.
Yeah, the fact that I can remember which album it was on, means it's forgettable.
So you were right after all. So
yeah. Sorry, because it's bugging me because I thought, well, I know I picked the right one up. Right,
because it was like, well, yeah, that's not 18. That's Play.
18 is it's a great album. I mean,
it's one like I said, I do know the singles off it, but I've not listened to the album itself.
Why do I feel so bad? I don't know if
What if my heart feels so, but I had that as a CD single.
Yeah. Porcelain's brilliant.
Porcelain's great. Yeah, Natural Blues is great. I love that.
Yeah.
Body Rock, I always loved that as well.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think Find My Baby was on it.
Find My Baby, that's on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so loads of good stuff on play.
Well, the first track, Honey's good.
Yeah, Honey as well.
So really, and I'm not a Moby fan as a rule. There was probably some of his albums I probably would detest, right? Because they're far different from this.
Yeah.
Right, he's trying to be rock on.
As you probably know from watching Records Roundup, I've collected a few of his albums, and it's surprising, even some of the early ones, how eclectic they are.
Yeah.
There's one, I think it was his third studio album, Everything Is Wrong, and it's like you get like a kind of almost like a rave track, and then like the next track on is like some sort of like guitar punky kind of thing. It's like,
yeah, I was going to say, because he did.
It's really, it makes the album like really inconsistent, really.
It's a bit disjointed.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got to the bottom of it. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, really, that's a song. It's like when we got 3 minutes to fill, let's stick that on there. And maybe he was intending to go some.
I'm going to have to go away and listen to that.
Yeah.
To that track,
you might like it. You might like it, right? I just felt it was weak for the album as a whole.
I get the feeling because I don't remember it. It's one that is actually so dull to me that I've just got no feelings, or the one that when I listen to it again, I'll be like, I don't like that. So just interrupting you to look at a few comments. Okay. I don't have any Steps albums. No, I don't, chums, and I'm determined to stick to that as long as there's breath in my body. Rach doesn't like his Love Roller Coaster by Red Hot Chili Peppers. I know what?
I like that.
I'm not a big fan of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I quite like their cover of Love Roller Coaster. And New Man Ed Sheeran, I don't like Ed Sheeran generally.
I can't stand him. No. He's overblown. He should have stuck to what and brought him to the dance and trying to do all trying to do with this sort of like. I don't know what his style is.
He doesn't bear that much analysis for me. I just like trying to ignore his entire existence. Really, as long as he don't step out in the sun for too long, because with that hair, poor cock. But then again, he's richer than me, so I'm not going to feel that sorry for him, am I? Yeah. And Rach also doesn't like "Kill the DJ" by Green Day, which I
don't know that one.
The name rings a bell, though.
Yeah.
Someone else I know has mentioned that to me. Rushing by Moby.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. The only one I can think of with when she said that was "Hang the DJ" by the Smiths.
No, it wasn't called "Hang the DJ." It was called
Panic.
Was it
called? Oh, Panic. Thank you. Yeah.
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 I don't like it when some songs get miscredited. They get
I know. Yeah.
Because the chorus is usually something really cash. Like an example is like everyone always used to call Chumbawamba's Tub Thumping. Oh, I get knocked down. It's like
no, it's not,
that's just the name of the chorus. It's Tub Thumping. And then you've just done it with the Smiths.
Yeah, no, I should have known it was called Panic. I'd forgotten.
And, another one that they do. One of my all-time favourite songs. People call the Who's Barbara O'Reilly "Teenage Wasteland," and that winds me up.
Why?
Because that's like the main line in the chorus, isn't it? "Teenage Wasteland."
I suppose. Yeah. All right. Okay.
If you type in on YouTube the Who "Teenage Wasteland," you'll get Barbara O'Reilly because I think it's an American thing, really, because it's been used in a lot of films and ads and stuff.
Maybe, yeah.
People just call it by the wrong title, and it does annoy me when that happens.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could get a whole Sodcast show out of that. I think like us two moaning about mistitled songs. I don't think we can do that, really. I think we might be stuck after those few.
It would be a bit difficult, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So, anything else you want to talk about Rushing and Moby?
No. I think that's pretty much it. It is what it is, right? Some people might like it. It's not dreadful, But like I said, it's just a bit throwaway.
Yeah, it's just a bit.
You know, it was just
empty and unnecessary
compared to what the rest of the album's like. You know, even his slow stuff from Moby is usually pretty good. But this is just it's like it's there.
Yeah.
Extra track,
Yeah, but so Moby's Rushing is a bad song from, me and Jason will be in agreement here, I'm sure. A good artist. I'm a bit of a Moby fan. I've got some of his albums, not all of them by any stretch, but I know Jason is certainly fond of that era of Moby.
Yes, definitely. Both of the 2 albums,
Years,
yeah.
So there we go. We've had our 4 picks each, and that brings us to the end of the old Sodcast number 9. So thank you all for watching and participating. Appreciate all those who've been leaving stuff in the chat.
Of course.
Yes, indeed. As you know, or if you've been looking at the ticker bar, and we did talk about it at the start of the show, this is it now for the next 4 weeks. Not because we need a break, it's just we're doing other things.
It's the 10th, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, Sunday the 10th is when we hope to be back. If it has to change again and get delayed for a 5th week or whatever,
I have got it organised. I've got it organised.
Don't start reading your diary out to us, Jason. We'll just make it that
I've got use of a computer. Put it that way.
Just because I need to say it, just for my own benefit. If we have to delay again, because it could be for illness or something, you never know, do you?
I suppose.
Look out for the community tab on my YouTube channel, and I'll give updates there. Like I did with today's, I was just saying. Well, I was kind of asking for viewers, really.
Yeah, I'll try and get into doing that again, putting it back up on mine. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, so that's it for the next 4 weeks. Don't know what the next show is going to be about. Even if we did know what it was going to be about, we would still leave it as a surprise. But me and Jason will be discussing that, not just yet, but closer to the time. Hopefully we'll be back. We'll definitely be back with something, and hopefully it'll be another interesting topic. I've enjoyed this one.
It turned out good, didn't it?
If you're watching on replay, on demand, as it were, thank you. Leave your comments if you wish. You know how to subscribe to us, so I won't go on with all that bump. But I want to say thank you for co-hosting, as always, to Jason. Thank you, mate.
Pleasure, mate. A lot of fun.
And thank you again to everyone in the chat and those who've been watching on and off. Appreciate it. And we'll say goodbye and see you in 4 weeks' time. Although, obviously, you'll see us on our channels with our regular videos in the interim anyway. But for the old Sodcast, we'll see you in 4 weeks on 10th of September. Cheers, everyone.
See ya.